Hi everyone, welcome back to another Dwarf Fortress video. I had some people ask about how the minecart logic system worked for the minecart shotgun that I built. Rather than explain that perhaps in too much detail, I thought it might be more fun for other people to learn by doing. So in this tutorial I'm just going to present you with an example of how you can use minecart logic to make your own fortress systems work a little better. So right in the middle of the screen you can see all the computing that's involved in my minecart logic for the shotgun. But don't worry about that too much, we're going to build some new material. At the bottom of the screen there's a long corridor, and we're going to imagine that's the entranceway to our fortress, with the left side being down ramps into the body of the fortress, and on the right side there being up ramps. And what we're going to try and do is build a bridge that will automatically go up when any enemies cross the pressure plates, and this bridge will stay up until we choose to open it again. So before talking about gears and minecarts and what have you, I thought I'd have a quick chat about powering these systems. In this fortress I have half a dozen odd windmills there, or actually closer to 10 by the looks of it, and they are all connected underground to a central power system. So if you haven't built a windmill before, the easiest way to do it is at the ground floor level. Just channel a hole, and under the build machinery menu you will find windmills, and then you place the center of the windmill over the hole. And then a level down you need to build gears underneath each windmill, and this will connect the windmill to the power system you're building. And in this case all the gears are then connected to each other using horizontal axles, and then those horizontal axles are connected back to one gear in the center right. And if I go down a level, there's a hole beneath that gear, so it's another channeled out space. And then a floor below there is a gear which connects from that rightmost system all the way left across the screen, and is powering the system right now. So you're going to need one or two windmills, probably just one for this project. You want to connect it vertically down to a kind of a machine floor, so you might have to channel a couple of holes down through a couple of levels, and use gears between those levels. Is really the easiest way to connect the system together, and gears transmit power in all 6 axes. So now you've got a system like this, you're going to need to look at expanding it a little and moving it across, so you can moving power around so you can power your own particular setup. So I'm going to start designating that now. So first things first, let's bring up the build menu. So build, Shift M, so capital M, and we're going to look at building a horizontal axle. So the horizontal axle, I'm just going to make it a short one. It's going to be a little bit wide across here, and at the end of it we're going to put a gear. So we'll have a horizontal axle. It takes a little bit of power to power, but not too much. And then I'm going to build a gear, and the great things about gears is they can be triggered by the systems. So the first axle's organized and designated. Let's set up the system we're going to use for the rollers and the minecarts and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing is let's drop a gear assembly next to this powertrain. We're going to be using this gear assembly as a toggle. Horizontal axle. It has S to make it go vertical. Only going to be a couple of pieces long, not very big. So I'll place that, and at the top of it another gear assembly and another gear assembly. And now the dwarfs are going to turn up and start building that pretty soon. And what will happen is that when they're complete, power will be transmitted through all of those axles and gears, and then we're going to need to start building the actual minecart logic section. So my dwarfs are busy building now, and that'll come together pretty quickly. It's probably a good idea to have 4 or 5 dwarfs that are full-time engineers, or at least have engineering as a job they're capable of doing, because you're going to be doing quite a lot of machinery and hooking up of stuff when you start getting into this. So that system should be just about all built. Don't need to watch it be built, but it's kind of fun. The next thing is we're going to build a wall. We need to build one at each end of the system to prevent minecarts from derailing. So B, Shift C, and the wall. I'll place one there and one there. So with the walls designated, it's time for us to build the track. So if we hit D, Shift T, we can use the cursor and specify a length 4 long of track, and hopefully pretty soon we'll see our dwarfs run along. While we're here, we might as well build these levers we're going to need to toggle the system into the state we want to start with. I like to build the levers directly next to the gears that I'm going to turn on and off. It helps me remember where they are. So B, Shift T for traps, L for lever, and just plop them directly above, and then one below these toggle gears. And now we have to wait a little bit. The next thing is rollers. So we're going to use B and then M, B and then Shift M, and scroll down to rollers. And the first roller is going to go from north to south and be placed at the top of the track. Make it out of some mechanism and some rope. And the second roller, I press S to make it south to north, put it at the bottom of the track. From there we need a pressure plate. So we go back out to build, Control Shift T, B, Shift T, pressure plate, Shift T to set it for track, and then we're going to place it directly below the topmost roller. And we use a mechanism, and off they go. So pretty soon my dwarfs will start noodling around. While we're at it, I'm going to build a bridge at the bottom. So this is going to be the kind of bridge that we imagine will block our entrance way. So I'm going to place it there. I'm going to say that it raises to the left. So this is all B, G, that controls for bridge, A to set raise to the left. And it's going to be made out of, let me have a look. Why not make it out of adamantine? Why not? It's going to be an awesomely strong bridge. At the same time, I want to build a ton of pressure plates that are going to be the triggering mechanism. So back at the B, Shift T, pressure plate. I'm going to place them way over towards the right, just to ensure that my enemy creatures that come in have enough time to cause the bridge to trigger and don't make it inside the fortress. I'm going to press C for trigger on creatures, and then I got to press E a lot to reduce the minimum weight that'll trigger them. There's probably some ideal limit where you just leave it at like 10,000 or 9,000, but I'd set it right down to 0. And then I'm going to place this and repeat this several times to 3 times to cover the width of my hallway. So a little time has passed and I have my pressure plates built in the entranceway. 3 of them covering the entranceway so that any creature that comes in will cause a triggering event. The second thing is that the pressure plates and the rollers, or the pressure plate and rollers, are now built on the minecart logic system. The next thing is to hook up the levers on the system. So we add the task of A linked to gear, and I'm going to choose the adjacent gear assembly. And that takes a couple of mechanisms, and for the next one, A, and that gear assembly. This will mean that I can set the system up to be toggled off to start with, which is what we prefer. The next step is to connect each of these gear assemblies, each of these pressure plates here with the very topmost assembly, that one there. This is to create the on effect, and you'll understand a bit more about this when we see it running. So with these built, Q over the pressure plates, add link to assembly, and the very lastmost one should probably be about it. And then just repeat this for the next one, and then the very last one. So now what will happen is that anything triggering these pressure plates, any enemy creature, will cause the topmost gear to toggle. What this will do is it's going to be set to the off state, so when it toggles it'll turn it on. That'll cause the rollers to push south, and then the pressure plate will be filled with a minecart, which you'll see briefly. So the dwarfs are currently adding gears and bits and pieces to the system. I've told them to pull the levers when they've attached the levers to the powering gears, and as you can see on the new system we've built, the topmost gear has been switched off by pulling that lever. Gears toggle, so any signal sent to them will toggle them between off or on states. Now what we need to do is set up our routes, and the routes are going to define where the minecarts are placed for our system to work. So the first thing to do is to press H, R for new route, N for name, and I'll call it entrance top. I just need to place the stop right on the top roller in the system. So right there, press S, press enter, and remove the conditions. We don't need any conditions. Press V. I'm going to chuck a gold minecart on there because I'm rich. And now we need to define another route, and it's going to sit right between the bottom roller and the pressure plate. So again, R for route, N for name, entrance bot. So press S for stop, place it right between the pressure plate and the roller, XXX, then V, and choose another minecart. Our system is almost ready to go. What we don't have yet is the connection between the pressure plate on the minecart track and what we want to trigger to be set on. So let's sort that out now. We want to connect it up to that bridge so that when the system triggers, the bridge is held open. So A for action, B for pressure plate, bridge, and we're going to add it to the adamantine bridge. So now the dwarfs are going to hook this up. So everything is now connected, and we only have a couple more steps to really look at. So first of all, really important, is use K and look around on the minecarts. We need to forbid them using F. If they're not forbidden, what happens is when they get moved by our system, dwarfs will come along and place them back where they think that minecarts should go at the track stops. And this will really mess with things. So with them forbidden, we can now test our system. So the first test is we can activate that top gear. And if I pull this lever, and I can pull it twice, and I'll send in 2 orders, a dwarf should come zipping along. And in fact, if you caught it, he was pretty quick because I'm using Fast Dwarf, which is a DF hack extension. He activated the gear, the roller pushed the top minecart into the bottom and then nudged the bottom minecart to the very bottom of the system. And what's happened is that the minecart has landed on the pressure plate and the adamantine bridge has been raised. That bridge will then stay up regardless of whether any more bad guys would step on those 3 pressure plates in the hallway, because all that would happen is when they step on those pressure plates, that top gear activates, there's nothing on it, so nothing will change. And we can turn the system off by activating the bottom gear. So if I add a couple of pressure plate pulls to the system, here comes a dwarf, I'm going to step through it, he's going to pull the lever, and the pressure plates will be unactivated because the minecart's going to knock into it. And now, some ticks later, the minecart pressure plate will pop up and the bridge will then lower again. So that's how we could reset it, and I'd probably put a lever in some central meeting room, the safe spot, and have that lever connected to that bottom gear. So this design is what's been called a Newton's cradle design, and it is available on the wiki. You can look it up there under minecart logic, which is a page I authored with a user called Bloodbeard, who is the person who originally put together the best thread on minecart logic, and he sort of prompted me to come up with this design, which is kind of a misinterpretation of one of his ideas. And okay, there we go. Don't know if you saw it, it's happened really fast. The 2 of those pressure plates are triggered. You can see they're a lighter color than the very top one. So at the very top of the screen there, you can see that the minecart system has already changed state. The roller's activated very quickly, and now hopefully, so I hope that's been sort of an interesting introduction to minecart logic. If you would like to know a little bit more, I can talk next about a system whereby we have retracting spears are activated, and that'll all be triggered off the same system. Machinery is fun, so why not? So let me know in comments if that would be something you'd be interested in seeing, and I'll do a follow-on video.